These are the most extreme human records. The first one on the list is the most babies born in a single birth. What is good, smart people? Professor Einstein here. The most babies ever born in a single birth is 9. 9 babies at once, called non-euplets. That happened in 2021, when a woman in Mali gave birth to all 9 children. Doctors only expected 7 babies based on the scans. All 9 babies survived, which is a medical miracle in itself. Most multiple pregnancies beyond 5 babies carry extreme risks, including premature birth and underdeveloped organs. The babies were born at just 30 weeks, which is about 2.5 months early. To put that into perspective, the average human pregnancy lasts 40 weeks. 1 baby, 1 pregnancy. These 9 babies shared that same space, same nutrients, and same heartbeat sounds for 30 weeks. Nurses reportedly needed extra staff just to handle the delivery room. Now here is something most people do not think about. The mother's body had to produce enough hormones, blood flow and nutrition for 10 lives at once. Her heart was working overtime every single day. Has anyone here ever had twins in the family? Imagine multiplying that by 4.5. The second one on the list is the oldest confirmed human age, 122 years old. That record belongs to Jeanne Calment of France, who was born in 1875 and died in 1997. She actually met Vincent van Gogh as a teenager and outlived him by over a century. Researchers have studied her case extensively because she broke every expected limit. Most scientists believed 115 years was roughly the ceiling of human lifespan. Calment blew past that by 7 years and never showed signs of serious cognitive decline until very late in life. She smoked until she was 117 years old, which has confused scientists for decades. Her genetics, combined with her relaxed lifestyle and Mediterranean diet, are often cited as key factors. Though honestly, she may have just been built differently. What is interesting is that no one has officially beaten her record since her death, nearly 30 years later. That tells you just how rare reaching 122 truly is. The current oldest living person today is over 115, but that gap of 7 years is enormous in terms of biology. The third one on the list is the fastest 100-meter sprint ever recorded, 9.58 seconds, set by Usain Bolt in Berlin in 2009. That works out to a top speed of roughly 44.7 kilometers per hour, almost as fast as a horse at full gallop. His stride length at full speed was about 2.7 meters per step. Most people's walking stride is under a meter. He was also 1.95 meters tall, which is unusually tall for a sprinter since most elite sprinters are shorter and faster off the start. I tried sprinting 100 meters once just to time myself for fun. I clocked just under 14 seconds and was completely out of breath. Bolt ran that same distance in 9.58 and he was still decelerating at the end. Let that sink in. Quick question. Do you think a human will ever break 9.50 seconds? The fourth one on the list is the longest time spent in isolation, roughly 44 years. This refers to Hiroo Onoda, a Japanese soldier who continued fighting in the Philippine jungle until 1974, because no one had ever told him World War II ended in 1945. He was not found in a cave, he was actively patrolling, fighting and surviving for nearly half a century. Onoda followed his last orders with total discipline: hold your position and never surrender. He believed the war was ongoing because he distrusted any leaflets or newspapers that told him otherwise, thinking they were Allied propaganda. His commanding officer had to personally fly to the Philippines in 1974 to formally relieve him of duty. He came out of the jungle at age 52, still in uniform, with his rifle in working condition. He had survived on bananas, coconuts, and whatever he could hunt. Locals and Philippine military had been searching for him for years, and he had actually wounded or killed several people who crossed his path, not knowing the war was long over. The psychological part of this record is what makes it truly extreme. Most people could not survive 1 year in the jungle alone. He did it for 44, fueled entirely by a sense of duty to a mission that had ended before many of his future search parties were even born. The fifth one on the list is the most children ever fathered or born to one person, 69 children. This record belongs to a Russian peasant woman named Valentina Vasilyeva, who lived in the 18th century. She gave birth 27 times, almost entirely in multiple births, twins, triplets and quadruplets. Of her 69 children, 67 reportedly survived infancy, which was extraordinary for the 1700s, when child mortality was extremely high. The Russian government at the time was so astonished they sent a formal report to Moscow documenting her case. It remains the most children ever born to a single mother in recorded history. Here is where it gets even harder to process. She was pregnant for the majority of her adult life. If you add up the pregnancies, that is roughly 20 or more years of being pregnant. Her body went through a level of physical stress that modern medicine would struggle to fully explain. Some historians debate the exact accuracy of the records, since documentation was imperfect in 18th century Russia. But even if the number is slightly off, the scale is undeniable. We are halfway through the list, and the next record involves human size in a way that might surprise you. The sixth one on the list is the tallest human ever recorded, Robert Wadlow, who stood 272 centimeters tall, that is just under 9 feet. He was born in Illinois in 1918 and kept growing until his death at just 22 years old. At his tallest, he weighed around 199 kilograms. Wadlow's condition was caused by hyperplasia of his pituitary gland, which produced abnormally high levels of growth hormone with no sign of stopping. By age 5, he was already taller than his father. By age 13, he was the tallest Boy Scout in history and made national news just for being photographed. Despite his size, he was described by everyone who knew him as soft-spoken, kind and remarkably patient, with the constant public attention. He needed leg braces to walk and had limited feeling in his feet, which ultimately led to his death when a faulty brace caused an infection. He died, having never reached his full potential height. Doctors estimated he would have grown even taller had he lived. At his funeral, the entire town of Alton, Illinois showed up. His life lasted only 22 years, but no human before or since has stood taller. The seventh one on the list is the heaviest human ever recorded, John Brower Minoch of the United States, who at his peak weighed an estimated 635 kilograms, roughly the same as a small car. His weight was so extreme that a standard scale could not measure him. Doctors had to estimate based on hospital bed calculations. Much of his weight was attributed to massive fluid retention caused by congestive heart failure. At his heaviest, it took 13 people just to roll him over in his hospital bed. He was hospitalized for nearly 2 years, during which he was put on a strict 1,200-calorie daily diet and lost over 400 kilograms, one of the largest weight losses ever recorded. He was married, had children, and by accounts was a gentle man who struggled with his condition his entire life. His body retained fluid so aggressively that even after losing hundreds of kilograms, his weight climbed back up rapidly once he was discharged. He passed away in 1983 at the age of 41. This record is not one to celebrate, but to understand. It shows how far the human body can go when certain systems stop functioning correctly. Medical understanding of obesity-related conditions has advanced significantly since his time, partly because of extreme cases like his. The eighth one on the list is the most bones broken by a single person over their lifetime, over 400, a record largely associated with Evel Knievel, the American stuntman. He fractured, broke or shattered bones so many times throughout his career that the Guinness World Records once listed him as the survivor of the most bones broken in a lifetime. To give you context, the human body has 206 bones total. Evel Knievel broke many of them multiple times over. His most infamous crash was in 1967 at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, where a motorcycle jump gone wrong left him in a coma for 29 days with a crushed pelvis, fractured hip, both legs, wrists and ankles broken simultaneously. Rather than retiring after that crash, he went straight back to performing. His jumps attracted crowds of tens of thousands and were broadcast on major television networks. He once attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon in a steam-powered rocket, which partially failed, though he survived. The doctors who treated him over the years said his body was held together in places by metal rods and pins. He lived to age 69, which, given the damage his body absorbed, is remarkable in its own right. What is good, smart people? Professor Einstein here. If you learned something new from this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is my goal to make you a little bit smarter with every video, and I believe this video right here can help you with that.